So for people out there that have no idea who you are, where are you calling in from, and tell everybody a little bit about your background.
I come from Coram, Long Island, New York. I used to live in South Setauket, New York. Um, Basically, I was in the food business when I was a kid. And then after that, I decided to join the gym. And joining the gym, I got into the health and fitness industry. I did that for about 25 years. I used to make promotional stuff, embroidery, silk screening, promote for all the bodybuilders, figure girls, all the guys, all the pros that you see on Instagram and stuff. I dealt with Kaspari Nutrition, Vitamin Shop. I dealt with bodybuilding.com, some GNC work. Was my passion for a long time. That's what I did. And then after a while, when the industry took a turn for the worst, and I lost everything. And I wound up getting into the food industry, and I was lucky about that. So I wound up becoming a outside paper sales guy. So I'm doing that for the moment right now. That's what I'm doing, having fun. I'm grateful for it.
Absolutely. And how did ASEA enter your life?
Before I even started working my job, the company I worked for, I was I was going through the bankruptcy and going through a really rough time. And my angel called me up. My sister Jeanette Chambers called me up, and she's kept pulled me for about a year and a half, and I kept on pushing her away. You know, she wanted me for the business end of it. My head wasn't in the right frame of mind because I was in the process of going bankrupt and losing everything. So my head just wasn't there. And I finally just said, just send me the product and I'll try it. Got the product. I was using the product for roughly month or so, getting some results, not 100% where everybody wanted me to do, what they expected me to get, like everybody was saying, because I was used to doing things a different way. One day I get a phone call from Dr. David Silverman, which I didn't expect because I was so disarrayed, and I was like, what you call me for? And then afterwards, of course, you told me to have me call you, but I wasn't like paying attention because I was just so not myself. And he asked me some key questions. Was I using it consistently? And I wasn't. I was dealing with some challenges that Jeanette never knew about. I was dealing with severe inflammation on my knees and my ankles from tearing them up from just abuse in the gym. That was an addiction I had, was beating myself up in the gym. I was a cocaine addict back in the 80s. So I switched my life around and started to get addicted to the gym. From lifting so heavy and abusing myself, I developed a problem with my hands that they were stuck like this. I had tingling and burning and that falling asleep feeling in them from repetition, which people get from computers and stuff and doing things. So from squeezing and squeezing and squeezing on the bar and pulling, I wound up having problems sleeping with braces at night. My hands were like this and didn't do anything. And so I finally decided to listen to Dave, and I was consistent with the product. In 2016, January 1st, I decided to take it every day, twice a day like I was supposed to, not even taking it like we know the magic 8, which 8 ounce. I take 8 ounces a day, which is the key. And I was using the gel, and in 2 weeks, everything was gone. Everything. My numbers at the gym were off the chart. I was spinning and people were looking at me like, that's like, that's professional athlete numbers. I was doing 21 miles in a spin class in 45, 50 minutes. They were looking at the teacher was like, what? Like she was, then she finally looked at it, and then for the first time, I wasn't wearing any magnetic wraps on my knees either. I was always wrapped up. My knees were wrapped up. I had something on my wrist, my elbow, some old band-aided it up. And first time, my people looking at me like, what happened to your knee wraps? You don't spin with the wraps anymore. I was wearing them for years. But after a while, they just stopped working. It was just so bad. And when they saw that, then everybody just started looking at it. Like, what are you doing? And they wanted to know more about it. And I'm grateful every day for where I am, because I don't know where I'd be if I didn't have this. Because it helped me with my depression issues, and that was going away after. It's hard for men to go into it, lose everything, and it was very hard for me to swallow that. I didn't know what I was going to do, and have to file and pull the plug. So it was very hard for me to do that. For more reasons, I just didn't feel ethical doing it. But everybody says, don't worry about it. It's the banks. They're used to this stuff, and that's why I did it.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that helped me get through everything. And I feel ASEA kept me stable, that I didn't go into that dark hole that I could have been in, even after going into it, getting divorced all at the same time and losing everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for being so vulnerable.
Yeah.
So why have you continued to share it with people?
I've changed so many people's lives dealing with, from neurological issues to abnormal cell issues. And I see how emotional they get, and it makes me emotional to see that they didn't think they would be here anymore, and they're sharing this time with, they're watching one particular person. I'm Lisa Casente. She's with her daughter, and she never thought she'd be with her daughter. You know, when she got diagnosed, and she's, 100% right now, and grateful. And her father's neurological issue. He was paralyzed for 3.5 years, and in 3 days the guy goes back to normal. He's back at work, and he's traveling the country again. And how could you not? And that's just two stories. And there's
David,
somebody.
you were telling me about your mom too.
Yeah, my mom. It took me a while to get her on because she's very old school. I mean, if the doctor said stick an ice pick in her eye, she would have did that. She don't care. Whatever the doctor says. I mean, you got to try, you got to try, you got to try. And she's seen enough stuff, and she finally tried it. She was on 13 different meds at one time, and now she's down. Then she went down to 3 and 4. She couldn't believe it. She was like shaking her head. The doctor's taking me off this. He's taking me off that. From being on all kinds of names, which everybody knows. I'm not going to even mention them. But all of a sudden, she's, and she was probably around 68 when she was like 75 when she wanted the product, or 75 or no, she was like 77 when she first started taking the product. She's been on it for about six years now, 7 years. She's been on it. Yeah, the first one of the product. She was still working full time at Macy's and fine jewelry until she was 81 years old, and she finally had to stop. She loves people. She loved her job. It killed her to retire. She didn't want to.
That's amazing. I just saw Marco come on too. He says hi.
Hey, Marco, what's up?
So where do you see this technology in 5, 10, 15 years?
Taking over the world. But people will finally get it because they're going to realize so many people are on it. And I mean, you have not, like I said in Instagram, you have nothing to lose. Nobody could say that to you. What do you got to lose? If you got a 60% chance it's going to work, you use it all. The company gives you your money back. What do you got to lose? And it can't hurt you. It can't hurt you. It's got no toxicity level. Nothing. Nobody could say that. No product. Nothing could say that. Drink too much water, it could kill you. You can't say this can never do that. And we know how harmful a lot of the other things that people take, but that are prescribed, that how bad they are for you. The side effects is take one for another, and this will help that other one. Then that one, take that one. You take that one for that other one. It's like, hello.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
Absolutely.
You have nothing to lose. Just be open. You can't lose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for letting me interview you, Steve. It's always a pleasure. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to wrap this interview up?
Try it. You'll like it, and you'll be grateful for the person that brought it to you, and you'll thank them every day.
Absolutely.
For changing
Thank you
your
so
life.
much.
Don't settle.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you again, Steve. You're a pleasure to work with, and I love that I'm connected with you.
Me too. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.